Justin, thanks for having a chat before trade period really kicks off. Christian Petrarca, you met with him about this time last week. He decided to go to the Suns and nominate them as his preferred destination. Can you talk us through your interest in Christian?
Yeah, again, we took the phone call there, and a quality player like that, you certainly have some interest. So, but there's also a reality to trade week and what that might look like. So we understand that, at the moment we've got pick 14, that might end up being pick 16. We're very strong 25 and under, so we're very keen to, have some stability to the list at the moment as well. So we moved on pretty quickly.
Did you pull back knowing how difficult a trade was going to be?
There's some reality to things like this. So yeah, I'm a bit of a realist. So we had to move on pretty quick.
You had Cal Archie nominate you as your preferred home. What's the allure with Cal after back-to-back premierships at the Lions?
Yeah, great to have Cal nominate the club. Obviously, we still need to work through what that trade looks like with Dom, but he's been a great servant for Brisbane, two-time premiership player. He certainly will add some flexibility to the list, and a Crow supporter growing up and had number 23 on his back, I think, growing up. So certainly there's some romance with that, but again, we need to work through what that looks like first.
So picks 15, 46, 53 at the moment. What does the hand look like in terms of getting that deal done?
There's a fair bit going on around us as well, so I think we'll try and work in with some of those deals and see how we can better that hand.
What do you think it has to be? We'll ask Dom Ambrosio in a second. He's up next, so we can get differing views on where this someone actually sits for Kalachi. What's the value?
It certainly won't be our first round pick, that's for sure.
Okay. Is pick 15 up for grabs for anybody, or do you feel like you take that to the draft now?
No, we're pretty open-minded. Yep. So whether that goes to the draft or whether we use that some other way, so we're very open-minded with all our picks.
A couple of midfielders have been on the market in Clayton Oliver, Jack Steele. Do you pursue them at all?
We'll certainly take phone calls and we'll do our due diligence, so there's a bit more work that has to go into that, but I think quality players like that or individuals, you certainly need to do your work, but there's no guarantee with what we do there yet.
Obviously, the club went really hard for Sam Draper through his free agency decision. Do you still look at another ruckman? I know you re-signed Riley O'Brien recently as well.
Yeah, look, we still think we've got some good depth there with Lockie McAndrew and his season in the SANFL, and obviously we've got Riley O'Brien. So we've got a bit of depth coming there from a height perspective, and now with the new 5 on the bench and the ruck rule, it's just some stuff we need to look at first.
And the decision from Taylor Walker to re-sign for next year, talk us through that one.
Look, great for the football club. He's a super person on and off the field. The members love him. Again, what that looks like next year, let's get through pre-season. But I think first and foremost, how he leads and how he goes about it Monday to Friday, whether it's at AFL level, whether it's being rested or SANFL, we're all really honest and clear on what that looks like. So, yeah, we're excited for Tex to go around again.
Ready, good luck for the next couple of weeks.
Thanks, Cal.
Certainly is, Sarah. Congrats, Dom, on the second back-to-back premiership. It's an amazing achievement for the footy club.
Thank you, Cal. Yeah, no, we're all very proud and excited of what we've been able to achieve, and it was really nice to see so many people so happy that you work with, really enjoying themselves, and now I get to come here and talk to you.
Half your luck.
Yeah, exactly.
I get to talk to you, and we get to talk about some big names as well, because Sam Draper has joined the footy club as a free agent while Oscar McInerney has announced his retirement. How much awareness did you have that Oscar was considering this as you chased Sam over recent months?
We had a level of awareness. It wasn't high. We weren't sure what Oscar was going to do. He obviously only confirmed his plans right towards the end. But we knew he was struggling with his back, and we knew that we needed to get some support in that area.
What about Oscar Allen? He's a free agent. When will that one be lodged?
Not sure when that'll be lodged. We've got a little bit to work through with the West Coast Eagles with regards to how other trade will work, obviously with Brandon involved, and we'll get through that and figure out our next steps from there. Reported overnight that Lions are targeting pick 16 for Brandon Starcevic from the West Coast Eagles. Is that right? Was it reported by you?
Something like that.
Look, we haven't completely firmed up exactly what we're looking for, but we're looking for the best deal we can get.
What's he worth in a trade?
A lot.
Yeah. So you guys have the offer for him as well, and you have had offers for him throughout the season. How's his decision-making process been as he's dealt with these head knocks and then getting back to playing that flag?
Well, look, he said he was always going to take his time to work through the free agency process and get an understanding of where he sat and where his value sat. We've had really strong offers, a multitude of different offers in front of Brandon for a long time. I think it was probably this time last year we opened negotiations with him. He's taken his time, and at the end of the day, I think he's just decided that geography for him was king and he wanted to be back in Western Australia.
We just had Justin Reid, the Adelaide list manager, on the show, and he spoke about their first pick being off the table in terms of a Calamachi trade. What's his value?
Oh, look, his value is really high. He's a two-time premiership player. He's played 6 years at our footy club. I think he's played in something like 90 wins in those times. He is a really versatile player. He plays a lot of roles and he's really selfless. And if it feels like I'm listing his CV because I think he's really valuable, that's because I am, and we really do think he is very valuable. So we'll work through that with the Crows, and I'm sure we'll come to a conclusion that's mutually beneficial.
Does Devon Robinson's move to West Coast get tied up in the Starcevic deal?
I don't know what that looks like yet. West Coast have their own considerations there. He clearly wants to go there. He's been a super player. He's made our club better in the 6 years that he's been there. And we'll figure that out, as the week unfolds.
We move straight ahead. We keep looking forward. Where do things sit with the Zach Bailey free agency deal? Is that something that you'll be looking to tie up over summer?
Well, I think I think it was Clint Eastwood who said, if you want to guarantee, buy a toaster. If you want to guarantee, the Brisbane Lions will do everything they can to get Zach Bailey tied up. Absolutely.
Is he put to the level now to be in that top rung of free agents for next year? So how do you actually go about that when you have a player who's going to demand these type of big offers from rivals?
The best way we can. Oh, look, we're in uncharted territory with this sort of stuff. There's clearly been a seismic shift in the way contracts are done, but we think what we're trying to build at the Lions is a group that want to stay together. Obviously, everyone's got to take a little bit less. We've already had players doing that. And that attitude needs to continue. And our group's really tight, that they all want to stay together. So we're hopeful we'll lean on that a little bit, but at the same time we need to look after these guys and compensate them the best, in what they're worth.
And just on that, and the final one, Will Ashcroft, those discussions have been ongoing as well. He's out of contract at the end of next year. Where does that one sit right now?
Oh, look, we're confident that both of the Ashcroft boys will have long futures at the Brisbane Lions, and we'll get that sorted in due course.
Go well over the next 2 weeks, Dom.
Thank you, mate.
Chris Davies in new colours. Suits you.
Thanks, Cal. Yeah, I think the navy blue brings out the colour of my cheeks, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was getting for sure. Charlie Curnow is the big talking point, obviously, at the Carlton Footy Club. Where does it sit with Charlie?
Well, we've been really clear as a club over the last period of time about Charlie. 4 years to go on a deal. We really want him to see that through, and that's what we expect to end this trade period with.
Have you had any firm offers from either the Swans or the Cats on Charlie?
Well, no, we haven't. And I think it's a really uncomfortable situation for probably Charlie to be in at the moment. And the message that we want to make sure that he hears is he's a really valuable member of our club, and we really want him to see that deal through.
Have you gotten to the bottom of why he wants this?
Well, I think the last 12 months has been a pretty big period of time for Charlie, without knowing the specifics, but clearly he's had some body issues that he's had to deal with, and the season clearly didn't go the way that the club wanted it to. But far better for him to answer those questions from our standpoint. He's a really valuable member of our group.
Is there any deal you would accept? Does it have to include players and quality players for you to think about it?
Yeah, look, I don't think that there's any value right now in me going through hypotheticals, Cal, other than to say that the clear aspect here is that we want Charlie to be a Carlton player into the future. Okay,
Tom De Koning has moved to St Kilda, as has Jack Silvani. That gives you pick 9 and 21 at the moment. What do you do with your draft hand? Has anyone come for the first pick yet?
Well, it gives Nick and Mick some real flexibility, which is important for us. I wouldn't want to define where that's going to end, but the great thing entering a trade period is to have as much flexibility as you possibly can. And our club has good flexibility. We've got some players that want to come to us who will help us from a depth perspective. We certainly don't believe that they'll help our team performance as well. But having overall flexibility is an important aspect of ending a trade period with your list being better.
Buku, Karmas, Campbell, Chesser and Liam Reedy all want to come to Carlton. How far progressed are those deals?
Well, it's a great thing, firstly, that those guys do want to come, and it says something that the club is a destination for players who want to end up with us. And that standpoint is clear that we think that there are deals that can get done. Ultimately, some of those will rely upon the other club also wanting to do the deal, but we believe we can end with those three players in through this trade period.
Have you got a sense, or your team got a sense yet, on where a bid could come for Harry Dean, the father-son this year's draft?
Well, I've watched a fair bit of Harry Dean lately, and he's certainly a very good player who we think will help us into the future. So, where that bid ends up, we'll find out on draft night. But for now, it's nice to be able to look at a player like that and think that he can end up at Carlton, if we want him to.
Has there been any interest in Elijah Hollands, who's been told to explore his options?
Well, for right now, that's where Elijah is at. He's exploring those options, and there's still, even though the trade period feels like it's gone on for 2 weeks already, there's still 10 days of it left. So, I'm sure that there'll be discussions about Elijah into the future, and if he doesn't end up at a new club, then we'll have to assess what we think Elijah's future is from there.
Is the club satisfied with where things sit on the father-son and bidding changes for 2026? Do you know exactly what you're going to have to take into next year to match a bid on Cody Walker?
I think that's a work in progress still from an AFL standpoint, and that my perspective on that has been that the AFL need to give the clubs a bit more notice about what is going on, rather than just saying things are going to change without actually giving us a sense of what that is. But we'll work with whatever rules are in place, and I'm sure that our club will be good enough to put itself in a position to be able to get Cody in if that's where we want to end up.
Right, final one, looking ahead to 2026 as well. Sam Walsh is one of the biggest free agents in the pool. Been any talks yet? Where do things sit on the contract front for Sam?
Well, the club's pretty comfortable with where that has gotten to. Sam's been away over the off-season so far, and I'm sure we'll enjoy the remainder of his break, and once he comes back and gets into pre-season, we'll have that sort of chat from there. I'm pretty comfortable that the players get the opportunity to assess what they want. Certainly from our club's perspective, we believe Sam can be a massive player for us into the future.
Chris, thanks for your time.
Good on you, Cal. Thanks.
Lepo, thanks for having a chat. We reported this morning that Collingwood is having a consideration on Clayton Oliver. What can you tell us about the interest in Clayton?
Yeah, we're just going through our due diligence on that one. Obviously, it came in late last week, bordering on the weekend. So we got the call from his management and thought, we'll definitely do the work. It's a position of need for us. So on face value, it's a good thing to look into, but we'll probably know in the next couple of days whether we're going to progress with that.
Have you spoken to him yet?
No, I haven't spoken to him. He's obviously up in Sydney at the moment too, so we'll get through the first parts, and if we want to get to a meeting, I might have to get in a plane, Cal, and get up there and see him.
What does the process look like if you do pursue it in terms of a trade, given his contract? He's got 5 years left remaining, of course.
Look, haven't gone down that pathway yet. Had a brief chat with Melbourne about what a deal could look like. It's somewhat similar to what was reported. So, but again, we just want to get through the first parts. First, is he good for Collingwood and vice versa? Let's
get into a couple of the ins and outs. Start with Jack Buller. How early do you want to get that deal done with the Swans?
In about 15 minutes, if I could. I think all the players sit there nervously and just want to get their deals done. But obviously we've all got lots of things to do. Sydney's got a few things they're bouncing around as well. So hopefully early, but you never know.
A trade looks more likely now for Brodie Myercheck. Is that a chance in terms of a later deal rather than go through the free agency mechanism?
It is a possibility. Obviously they've got some, Spargo gives them a really good pick. So we'll decide whether we want to go down that path or not.
Have you identified Buller as the Myercheck replacement?
I wouldn't put that much pressure on him. Brodie's such a wonderful player. I think one thing we've watched Jack a lot this season, I did personally, and what he does really well, he competes hard in the air and at ground level and pressures. And I think the Collingwood supporters are looking, and when they watch him play, say he plays like a Collingwood player, and I think that's the best part about Jack.
About this time last year, you raised Bailey Humphrey's name with the Suns. Are you in the race for him again?
Is there a race?
Have you met with him?
No, we haven't met with him. But we obviously met with him last year, but not this year. But look, he's a Gold Coast player, and they're adamant that they're not going to trade him, and that's all we can do. We can respect the wishes of the club that's got the player, and if that changes, well, great. But if not, it is what it is at the moment.
Is it a no for Stephen May?
Yes, it is. Unfortunately, we went through the work, and we come to the end point of that one, and. Unfortunately said to Stephen, he's a good fella and I wish him well and I hope he finds the spot. If it stays in Melbourne, great. If not, wherever his next chapter is.
A lot of speculation around Bobby Hill's future at the footy club despite signing that long-term deal. What can you tell us about where it sits for Bobby?
Well, we just signed him for 5 years, so obviously we love him and wanted him for that period of time. Nothing's changed from our end and there's nothing's changed from Bobby's end. It's just, I guess it's unfortunate, the things he went through and off the field affect his on-field a little bit, but we think we've got a handle on that now and going into the future.
Is it a wait and see for Mason Cox in terms of a new deal?
Yeah, it is, unfortunately for Mason. You hate to see one of your premiership heroes having to wait for a deal, but it's just the case for Mason at this point in time.
And talking off list spots and draft positions as well, decided the Collingwood Footy Club has not nominated Tom McGuan as a father-son. Where does it sit in terms of the conversations with Tom, potential for a rookie spot and leaving the door ajar there?
Yeah, and that's probably where it sits. Unfortunately, we couldn't commit to him in the draft. Obviously, still potential for rookie or another club. I mean, he tested so well at the Combine yesterday, so he's credit to him. He's put his head down and still worked hard and wants to, is craving for that AFL opportunity. So, yeah, that's where it sits right now.
Lepo, thanks for the chat and good luck for the next couple of weeks.
Thanks, Carl. Cheers.
Matt, lots to talk about with the Bombers. Where does it sit with Zach Merritt?
Yeah, so it's been an interesting period. Obviously, a lot has been spoken about Zach and where that sits. But it was great to see him win his 6th Crichton medal last week. So he's a champion of our football club. We've been really clear that he's a required player. He's been gathering information, as we know. He stated that there's some frustrations, but we've been really clear that we're keen to work through that and that he's a required player at the football club.
Has he officially requested a trade?
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, and would you be open to any offer? Or is it a blank no to Zach Merritt moving?
No, again, we've been really clear on our position that we won't be entertaining moving Zach.
Any discussions from Hawthorn? Have they attempted to price or put any offers forward for him?
No, there's been no contact made with Hawthorn. So, yeah, nothing will change. If contact does come, we're really clear that he's a required player and he's a champion of our football club.
Okay, a few other moving pieces at the Bombers, one of them being Braden Fiorini. He's got a decision to make. Where does that one sit? Yeah,
so Braden is a player that we have shown interest in. Through this period, we'll be looking to hopefully gain some players that are role specific, and we're always looking to acquire A-grade talent as well. But yeah, Braden is a player that we have interest in. We think he played a really important role on the wing for the Suns this year, and high-end character and leadership as well.
You lost Sam Draper as a free agent to Brisbane, but now have 5 picks inside 29. How do you use those selections? Do you try and bundle up? Are you comfortable with where you sit?
Yeah, it's an exciting period for the football club to go into the draft and this trade period with 3 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. We'll explore all options. Whether we can move up, we'd be keen to do that. But we'll also look at options of splitting picks or even moving into future years as well. So we feel like we're in a really good position and we're excited about what we might be able to bring in.
Is Zane Dersmer a player on your radar?
We like his talent. Yeah, there's no doubt we like his talent. But he's a contracted player, so we don't expect anything to happen there.
Contracted player at St Kilda is Jack Steele. He has 2 years left to go on his deal, but the club has been thinking about exploring that interest. Where does it sit with Jack?
Again, we'll explore all avenues to see how we can strengthen our list. He's a player that we've admired from afar, given the way that he goes about it. But yeah, not too much has evolved in that space yet. So yeah, we'll get to work over the next 10 days and see how we go.
He's one of the youngest lists in the competition and you shed a lot more experience as well. Is that part of the thinking in terms of what you do over this period too?
Yeah, again, we'll look at those options. If we feel like we can bring in a player with the right qualities and the right character that can really help our young and emerging group, we'll look at that. But we're also really excited about hopefully getting more of our core group out in the park next year. We've got real belief in our core group of players and the young talent we've got coming through. So they're excited about getting to work with a new S&C and medical team and yeah, excited to get into pre-season.
And Essendon fans are pretty excited about what comes through the door at pick 4 and 5. Have you nailed your group yet? Are you pretty comfortable about who you're going to be picking from, having just done the draft combine, of course?
Yeah, still plenty of work to be done, but we are bullish on what will be up that top end of the draft. We spent the last couple of days at the combine and sitting with some of the kids and meeting some of the high-end characters and the talent that is potentially coming through the door. That's exciting for us.
Good luck, Matt.
Thanks, mate.
Woolsey, how's the next couple of weeks looking like for you? Obviously a huge trade period last year. Are you looking like a slightly smaller player in terms of this year's pool?
Yeah, I think so, Cal. Obviously coming off a couple of big years with Shea Bolton, Luke Jackson and Jordan Clark the year prior. So, yeah, still looking to improve our list at every opportunity. And Judd McVee's one who's been identified and requested a trade to us. So we think he'll make our list better. And he's one that we'd like to get done. And we've started chats with Melbourne, but still pretty early, and we'll catch up with them again this afternoon here.
What's the role you see for Judd McVee? He's obviously played deep, played a little bit further up the ground and wants to come to the Dockers. Where does he fit in? Yeah,
exactly right. Like, we know he can defend, we know he can play deep, lock down, but we also think he's got a lot of run and creativity to his game as well, which we'd like to see him up the ground a little bit further. And we think he can really help and complement our ball movement out of the back half.
Picks 12 and 33. Does anything there get involved in the Judd v Chase? Where does it look like at the moment?
Like I said, still early days. We're going to be open to a lot of different scenarios. Obviously, there's a fair bit to play out beforehand, but we'll look to move some picks around and try and find a compromise where both parties are happy.
A couple of early discussions as well for Liam Reedy and Will Brodie. Do you expect those two to go through pretty seamlessly?
I think so. Look, we respect both guys. Like, we understand their position. That Liam being a ruckman, backup ruckman behind Luke Jackson and Sean Darcy. He's obviously looking for opportunity, but he's an out of contract second-year rookie, and Will Brodie as well, looking for opportunity and to play in the midfield. And we haven't seen him at senior level with us since early 2023. So we'll look to facilitate a trade for both those guys. It should be pretty straightforward.
There's always murmurings about the ruck situation. Sean Darcy's name pops up, there it goes down. Do you want to just put a line through it now? Is Sean Darcy absolutely not involved at all this trade period?
Absolutely not. No discussions had, and we see Sean and Luke continuing their ruck combination together.
Good luck for the next 2 weeks.
Thanks, Carl.
G'day, Andrew. It's good to have a chat with you on what's going to be a big couple of weeks for your football club. Charlie Curnow, can you talk to us about the interest in Charlie and how you hope to get this done?
He's a star player, so whenever they're available, potentially, you have a look at him. The next bit's quite challenging. He's got 4 years to go on a contract, so we've got work to do if we want to explore it, but we're under no illusions that he's a wanted man at Carlton, so we understand the game, but we'll see if we can try and make something happen.
Okay, the follow-up is obviously Rowan Marshall has already requested a trade to the football club. Can you get both done?
It'd be hard work, yeah. We'll see how we go with the Rowan one. Once again, he's contracted 2 quality players, but it's, as we sit here, it's going to be hard work to get them both done. We're under, we know how the system works, so it's there's plenty of work to do if we want to be able to do that.
Has the club spoken to Charlie about his interest in coming?
There's been a conversation with his management, but there's plenty of work to do.
Any offers yet to the Blues?
No, not at that stage. No, it's pretty early on. They've been clear that in a conversation with Nick Austin that he's a contracted player.
We'll get the Saints view later on when they flow through, but what's the value on Rowan Marshall, given he's got a contract, as you say, for 2 more years? Have you nutted out exactly what that looks like?
Not exactly. They've just walked past, so we should bring him in and do a live deal. But
we could.
Yeah, you never know. See how we go. But no, we'll have a conversation with him. Clearly, they've got a bit going on. I had a chat to Sauce on Saturday just to get things going a bit, but we'll follow up from there today and get a read on the situation. But like I said, he's got 2 years to go on a contract, so they're never easy to do. They're a bit complex, but their intention is to try and bring Rowan in, and we'll see how we go with that.
Clayton Oliver was a target last year, not this time around though?
No, we managed to get James Warple in as a free agent, which is great for us, get some midfield depth. So we're excited by that. It probably means that Clayton one was something last year that we were looking at, but not this time around.
What is the appeal in James? He obviously finished the season really strongly in the Hawks final series as well.
Yeah, look, he's an inside ball. We've got some run on the outside that we think that a player like James can really complement. Tom Atkins has had a great year inside, but at the same time, we didn't have too many injuries in there. So you've got to have a squad mentality around your whole team, in particular your midfield. So that's what we'll be working through with him, how it looks, and the coaches will have the summer working through exactly his role.
Andrew, thanks for your time and good luck over the next 10 days.
Thanks, Carl. Cheers.
So much to talk to Craig Cameron about. Let's start with Christian Petrarca. Where does the deal look like for him at the moment?
We've had only preliminary discussions with Melbourne, so spoken to Tim Lamb. Obviously, those will happen more over the next couple of days. At the moment, they've only been sort of opening chats.
It's a significant fillip for the club, though, that a player of his ilk, his stature, his quality wants to come to the Suns. What won him over, do you think?
I think coming to a club that he views as on the rise. Damien was very clear on the role that he could play within our team. So I think that made a massive difference, understanding that he fits into the midfield and can play forward. We were clear with that. And also I think the role that Alex Rigby, our high-performance manager, played in talking to him about what the back half of his career could look like, I think that played a big role.
Everything's connected in trade period. We know Sam Flanders wants to get to St Kilda. Pick 7's on the table from them. Do you accept pick 7, and then does 7 become a big part of the Petrarca dealings?
I'll deal with that question one by one. So I think we'll work through with St Kilda over the next couple of days. We're getting to a position that we're comfortable with, but there's a few things for us to iron out. I'm not really going to do the Christian negotiation publicly. I think
you can.
I won't though. I think the right thing to do is talk to Melbourne about that in the next few days.
Where do things stand with Jamara Ugelhagen? Do you expect that to flow through over the next week?
We're moving forward in terms of further conversations with him. He hasn't done a medical with our footy club as yet, so there's a number of things he has to the number of things we need to investigate, and back end of the week we're more likely to have a position.
Obviously been a challenging year for him. What's the appeal in Jamara? Why do you want to get into the club, or why are you considering it?
We're considering it because he's obviously a phenomenal talent. We think that if he gets to a point where he plays back anywhere near that form, he can play a role for us in our forward half. He has great forward craft and IQ. We think he can also play with our key position players because we think he can play a different role to that. But having said that, he's got to make a commitment to get himself right to play football, and we're not blind to that.
Let's talk about the Bailey Humphries scenario and situation that's unfolded the past few days. Have you spoken to Bailey about how this has all gone in recent times?
Damien has, and we've made it really clear that we're not trading him.
Do you think he wants to move?
That's a difficult question. The answer is I don't think so. I think he likes our football club, but obviously we all saw things on Friday that made us scratch our head, but we're not trading him regardless.
And that's been communicated back to him?
Absolutely.
Are you okay or comfortable? How do you sort of work through the process when a player has been catching up with different clubs in a period where he knows that it's not going to happen?
I think pre-season starts, he comes back and trains and he's in with the group and off we go.
A couple of other decisions still to come. Braden Fiorini, have you heard from him?
No, I expect that will happen today.
Okay, and what about Ben Ainsworth, who is exploring his trade options? Got 3 years to go on his deal. Are you open to letting him move if the right deal comes?
It would have to be a good deal for us. So Ben's a valued member of our footy club. As you said, he is contracted. It's really early stages in all of this, so we're not uncomfortable that he's explored, but we're also comfortable at keeping Ben, if that makes sense. So.
And is the Malcolm Rose's paperwork about to be lodged? Are you imminent? Is that what you've got in your back pocket here?
No, that's my phone, but no, it won't be lodged today, but soon.
Okay. Good luck over the next 2 weeks.
No worries. Thanks, Gil.
He certainly is, Sarah. Adrian, plenty to discuss from a Giants perspective today. Let's start with Clayton Oliver. How interested is the club in getting Clayton Oliver to the Giants?
We're still working through it. There's no doubt, given that we were on the front foot trying to organise a meeting for Friday, there is a level of interest at our end, but Clayton's got a fair bit to work through himself, and we're in the same boat.
Have you got a sense on what his standing is at the moment and where he's looking?
Not yet. I think it's still pretty fresh for him. It wasn't until Thursday that it all unfolded for him. So it's happened quickly, and obviously it was great that he was in Sydney because we could piggyback off that and meet up with him on Friday. But I think it's early this week. He's still working through those options, and it'll play out over the next few days, I'm sure.
Does this signal midfield is priority number 1 for you guys in this period?
Well, I think if there was a priority, it would be midfield. We're still confident in the list that we've got and the young midfield that we've got. I think we saw this year opportunities emerged for Rouston, O'Halloran and McMullen, guys like that, and we feel like we've got flexibility on our list that if Clayton doesn't come in, we've got options to roll through there, whether that's Toby Green, Brent Daniels. So we feel like the midfield's good enough, but when you get a chance to bring in a quality player, you always got to look at it.
And Jane Laverty's already a confirmed addition, come through the rookie system as well. What do you see in Jaden bringing to the club?
Well, I think during the year when we established the fact that Wade Dirksen and Leclerc were both out of contract, we felt we were going to be light on for key back depth. So we scoured the market, looked at what was available. Jaden, as opposed to a lot of the other options, he's played a lot of AFL footy, which is of appeal because when you want to call on someone, you want to have confidence that they're at the level, and he has been. And I think the number one thing that Jaden brings is a competitor. That's the first and foremost of his game, and that's why we're excited to bring him in. We're
about to hear from Graham Allen, the Saints head of talent as well. Where do things stand on the Leclerc deal?
Yeah, I've had a brief chat to Govey about where that might sit. We're not going to be stupid about what we ask, but we're also not going to accept something that we're not going to use. So it'll land somewhere in between, and the initial chats with them is more around the fact that they've got a lot of other stuff going on, so we're not prepared to go and accept something now. We will probably just wait and see where things land at their end and then chat to them later this week.
Are you targeting a future second?
We're targeting probably something in the future, and we're targeting a draft pick. We think something around that second round is probably the best value for someone like Lec. but their future second's not on the table yet, so we've still got to work through all that.
We found out last Wade Dirksen wouldn't be going to Melbourne. They've had interest over the past 18 months, but they've gone in a direction. Is there an opportunity for him to still be at the Giants next year?
There's a potential. You know, we're going to have to get through trade period and see where things land. You know, we've got a couple of open rookie spots that we're doing a fair bit of work on what those options might be, whether it's delisted players, whether it's draft, whether it's someone like a Wade. So, you know, I think what happened though is because we went and replaced Wade with Jayden, given that, you know, we had the expectation that Wade was leaving, you know, potentially the need isn't there as much for us with Wade, but, you know, he's been a quality player in our VFL side for a number of years and there's still an option for him to stay.
Okay, before we let you go, just a lighter one to finish. The Blue Lagoon on Friday, the boat looked very nice. Blue Goose, sorry, I missed that. Blue Lagoon, I don't mind the Blue Lagoon as a better option anyway. Can we talk about the Subway? Who ordered the Subway? And could we not have found some prawns or some seafood to maybe throw up and splash to Clary?
I was too busy, Cal. I was at the Combine, so I'm not exactly sure how it all went down. I know that the club did their best to try and impress Clayton, but yeah, I was too busy to look at those sorts of things.
All right, we'll see you on the Blue Goose next time. Thanks for your time and good luck over the next couple of weeks.
Thanks, Cal.
I certainly do, Sarah, and lots to talk about with you, Mark. Let's officially requested a trade to the Hawks.
No, he hasn't. I mean, obviously, externally, there's been a little bit of talk about Zach's position, and obviously there's you know, some interest from us, but there's been no trade request.
Do you want him?
Oh, we've got some interest there, definitely. I mean, we've shown from our football club there is the interest to get better, and we'll do that through any scenarios, whether that's trade, free agency, or the draft, which we have done, especially through the draft over the last few years. But then a bit more of a focus on the trade and free agency last year. So always in the market for high quality players. So that'll be not much difference.
Has he reaffirmed to the Hawthorn Footy Club that he's keen to join you guys?
Oh, I'm not going to go into the background discussions where there is at this point in time, but he's an Essendon player, he's contracted, they've got their position, and he hasn't requested a trade, so that's where it sits.
Do you look to shake that position? Are you going to throw any offers at them in coming days to see if that changes?
I think we're dealing with the hypotheticals a little bit here, Cal. We'll see where it goes. Our interest is there. There haven't been any discussions with Essendon at this point in time, and that's where it sits.
Have you met with Bailey Humphrey?
On another note, I guess with these type of players, those highly talented younger and older ones, we're not going to go into details about whether we have or we haven't met, and you might be asking me about a couple of other players potentially as well. So I'm not going to go into details about all those players, but we're in the market for having a look at those high quality players, especially the ones that can rotate through the midfield, and that's our position. We'll continue to ask the question and just do our due diligence.
Have you got a sense of his gettableness, for want of a better word? Do you think he's actually up for trade, or do you think you can get him out of Gold Coast?
Again, I've seen Gold Coast have got their position similar to Essendon's. What we do and what I would have thought every club would do is their due diligence when they hear a name come up, and that's what we've done. But he's a contracted player, and then obviously they've put up that he hasn't had a trade request, and that's where it sits.
James Warple's left the club. You bring in an end of second round pick for him. Sad to see him depart after what's been a great stint.
Yeah, definitely. But he's been such a quality player and person on and off the field. You know what you get from James with his competitiveness, and he's achieved a lot over the last number of years for our footy club. So we only wish him all the best. It's sad to lose him, but he's gone through the tough times with us, and then the good times, obviously recently, better times. But we only wish him all the best.
You threw an 11-year offer at Harley Reid a couple of months ago. How keen are you, and how aggressive are you as a football club in making this team better and making that next step?
Yeah, look, that is a priority for us. I think we've been open with what we've done in our transition and what our journey is as a footy club, and that's been started from 3 or 4 years ago with our journey through the draft, and we'll still look at that, but probably getting a bit more pointed with those players outside of that. So, yeah, we want to bring in those high-quality players, have a look through that midfield especially, and see where we can go to. But, yeah, we want to be aggressive and want to get better, which I would have thought every other club wants to do.
Joe Sarong wants to go to the Swans. What does that trade deal look like from your perspective?
Yeah, not sure. This has only come to light yesterday. We've been pretty open in the discussions with management, and we knew that he was going to go and explore, which we understand. We fully understand with his, he's played one game in the last 2 years for our footy club. He's been back-to-back best and fairest for Box Hill, so he's had a fantastic 2 years and still a young player. So we only found that out officially yesterday, so I'm sure we'll have discussions with Sydney over the coming days.
What about Cam Mackenzie and Henry Huswaite, two names that have continued to bubble away? Where does it sit for those two?
Yeah, no, they're Hawthorn players. I got that question before, and they're Hawthorn players. There's been no discussions there, so we expect them to be at Hawthorn next year.
We'll keep chatting through the trade period. Look forward to it.
Thanks, Gal.
As Riley said, Sarah, there is a lot of change happening at the Melbourne Footy Club potentially. We're joined by Tim Lamb. Tim, why is the reason behind so much change potentially at the football club over the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, well, Cal, we've already had a lot of change at the club. It's really exciting for our fans and supporters. Obviously, we've got Stephen King, a new coach, Paul Guerra, a new CEO. We've got an incoming new president. We've got an exciting young list, and we're really looking forward to the future.
You've told Clayton Oliver he's free to explore his options. We've had Justin Lepich on the show earlier today saying the Collingwood Footy Club is looking at him, the Giants as well. Where does it sit with Clary?
Yeah, we had a really honest chat with Claz, where Kingy outlined how we saw our midfield moving forward, how we wanted our midfield to operate, where he saw Clayton fitting in with that, and then obviously we've seen a bit of interest in Clayton from rival clubs, so we'll see how that plays out over the next couple of weeks.
Are you prepared to financially contribute to the remaining 5 years of his deal?
We're not going to talk about any details about what a deal would look like with any of our players at the moment.
Christian Petrarca's got 4 years left on his contract. Will he get to the Suns?
Well, that's sort of up to Christian and the Suns, to be honest. We've had, again, a really honest conversation with Christian where he expressed a desire for a fresh start. We've been really open with Christian that he's a contracted superstar of our club and that the likely outcome is that he comes back to us. But if there's a deal that we think is in the best interest of the club, then that's something we'll look at.
If pick 7's on the table, is that a starting point or a beginning? Is that enough? Where does it sit?
No, again, it's up to, if someone wants to come and get one of our best players, then it's up to them to come up with a deal that will satisfy us.
You've clearly shown interest in Bailey Humphrey over a number of years, dating back to his draft year as well, and as recent as Friday, catching up with Stephen King and Nathan Jones. Do you want Bailey at Melbourne?
Look, we've had a long-term interest in Bailey, as you said, but Gold Coast have been quite clear that Bailey's a contracted player and they won't be moving him, and we respect that. I'm not going to deny we've spoken to him. Everyone's seen the photo.
Yes, we saw that. And what was the conversation like?
I wasn't there, Carl, so I can't tell you.
Didn't get relayed?
We'll leave that one there, mate.
What about, just from the Suns' perspective, do you want a player for Christian Petrarca, or how does it feel in terms of picks, players? What's that mix look like?
Yeah, again, I'm not going to go into any specifics. It's up to a club to turn our heads. If they want to do a trade for Christian, it's up to them to come up with something that would satisfy us.
Judd McVie wants to go to Fremantle. Where are the talks placed with the Dockers?
Preliminary at the moment. We're disappointed with that one. We've been trying to recontract Judd since the middle of last year, so we'll wait and see. We've had a couple of quick chats with Freo about that, and we'll work through that over the coming days, mate.
A couple of incomings as well. Brody Mychek joins the club. What's the appeal in Brody as a premiership pie?
Yeah, well, it's just that premiership pie. The youngest area of our list is our key forwards. We think we've got real talent there, and Van Rooyen and Jefferson and Kenfield and Aidan Johnson's young in AFL terms, so they really need some experience to help them. And Brody's an unbelievable, player. I think he's 5-time been Collingwood leading goal kicker. He's a terrific human. He trains hard. The learnings that he'll give and the teachings he'll give our young key forwards, we think will accelerate their development.
Max Heath deal get done soon with the Saints? Is that an early one?
We haven't spoken to the Saints yet. We've had an indication from Max and his management he'd like to join us, which is super exciting. We do need a succession plan for the skipper, although he tells me he's going to keep playing till his early 40s. But we do need a succession plan, and Max was someone we've identified, so we're hopeful that'll get done.
Thanks for your time. We'll see you at the end of trade period.
Thanks, Cal.
Thanks, everyone. We didn't speak to Tim Lamb about was Charlie Spargo's departure from Melbourne to North Melbourne, joined by you, Brady. Does that one become official over the next coming hours?
Yeah, we'll do that one this afternoon. Lodge the paperwork with the AFL, and we're excited about bringing Charlie in. Obviously, there's a bit of family background there, but we've been keeping tracks on him for a long time. We think he can add to us in that forward half with the ball use inside forward 50. He's got good pressure and he's got great run, which we just felt like we could do with another player that can cover the ground like Charlie.
You looked at a couple of key defensive options in Jai Sarong, and Tyler Young was mentioned as well at different points. Is that still an area you proceed with targeting over the next 10 days?
We did look at Jai Sarong as more of a hybrid defender. In terms of our key defenders, we're going to back them in. We've got 5 on our list. We've brought in a few through trade and free agency in recent years. They're mature bodies, and we've got a young key defender coming through in Will Dawson as well. So we've got 5 on our list. We're going to back him in.
Do you expect Josh Simpkin to be at North next year?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's clearly our captain, 27-year-old. Dual best and fairest winner. He's done it pretty much all, Jai, and he's got another 4 years in his contract. Can't see why he won't be at our club.
Have you had any calls from other clubs about him or anything through his management that another club has raised an option?
No, nothing at this stage. Hopefully it stays the same.
How do you have that conversation with him in recent weeks then, since that exploration, I guess you'd call it, of his options? How's those conversations been with him, given he's captain of the club?
Yeah, well, we obviously have chats with our players at the end of the year, exits, raise any concerns or options at where they might play. Jai's no different. There's no bad blood here at all. Jai's, as I said, captain, well loved. Expecting to be there first day of pre-season.
Zane Dersma is contracted for next year, has had clubs with interest in him. Where does it sit with Zane? Do you expect him to be there next year?
Oh, 100%, yeah. We haven't had any request from Zane's management for a trade. Not expecting to either. He's got another year in his contract, 20 years of age and exciting player. So looking forward to him starting pre-season too.
What's the next steps for Zane in getting into there? Because obviously he's had some frustrations over his first couple of seasons, been in and out of the side. What are the steps from your point of view that you see in Zane's progress?
Yeah, interrupted pre-season last year with his shoulder and then came back and had a few niggles. Muscle niggles. So, just need to get him back to full fitness this pre-season. We'll see a completely different player.
You got a couple of picks in the 20s, 24 and 25. Do you package up? Do you hold there? What's the plan?
Yeah, we discussed a few options with those picks. At this stage, the price to get up is probably a bit too much. Weigh up what we could get at those picks and what we could potentially get if we came up and weigh all that up and see what the best thing is for our club. But by sitting there, we think we can get a couple of good players as well.
Thanks for your time, Brady. Go do that Charlie Spargo deal.
No worries. Thanks, Cal.
I certainly am, Sarah. The fresh news is that Jacob Weir is officially a power player. Jason, what's the attraction with Jacob?
Yeah, look, obviously Jacob's a South Australian boy, unrestricted free agent. He's a mature player. We're looking to add some depth, in particular to our midfield group. So, yeah, we're excited that Jacob comes in and hopefully give him an opportunity to play consistent AFL footy, which he was looking for, and we're really pleased that he's chosen to continue his career at Port Adelaide.
Now, the big talking point, of course, in recent weeks and months has been Zach Butters' future. Do you want to put a line through any opportunity Port Adelaide would have to trade in this year?
Look, I think as you know, Kel, there's one thing that if you know Zach Butters really well, he's a very loyal person. He's really happy at the club. He's 100% committed to being at Port Adelaide, and our focus going forward, and it's not right now, we'll do our absolute best to retain Zach to be at the club long term, and we want Zach to be part of the football club for the next 10 years. And one of your things, Kel, that you talk about is watch this space. There'll be no watch this space with Zach Butters over the next 10 days. I can assure our members and supporters of that.
So absolutely clear. If a club comes through with multiple first-round picks, the biggest deal, nothing's going to change.
It won't change. Like I said, our sole focus and intention at the right time will be to retain Zach for long term at our footy club.
Have you got notification yet on what Braden Fiorini is doing as a free agent?
No, still waiting for Braden. Hopefully that comes from the next day or two. Obviously he's got some options and got a fair bit to weigh up. But hopefully we get a decision in the next couple of days.
What about Will Brodie, who obviously wants to come to the club, has the relationship with Josh Carr from Fremantle? Does that become a relatively seamless trade?
I think so, yeah. We've had some couple of discussions with Fremantle and that probably look as if it'll get done in the next couple of days.
You're among the clubs who've put up your picks in terms of this year's draft. Your second and third round is potentially up for grabs. What's the appetite out there for trading picks in this year's group?
Yeah, well, it's obviously a pretty heavily compromised draft because of the amount of players that are connected to clubs through academy, father, son or NGA. So we're having ongoing discussions. We're open-minded. Obviously the ability to be able to trade into two drafts now, 26, 27. So we're having discussions with a lot of clubs around those picks, but we're happy to retain those picks and go to the draft, but we're also very open-minded about trading into future drafts.
Speaking of the 2026 draft, we've got a lot of questions about where it sits on Dougie Cochran and the bid to have him as part of the Next Generation Academy. Where does it stand from your club's point of view?
Look, that's still pending, and obviously it's a process that we're working through with the AFL, and that's where it sits at the moment.
Just on the whole, there's been so much change at the football club in recent weeks. How much of a pivotal role has Josh Carr played in this year's trade period, but also heading into the off-season as he really takes control of this group?
Yeah, look, obviously Josh has had a fair bit of input in terms of the list, the current list, and what we need in the future. We're really excited. We're bringing in 4 really experienced and well-credentialed coaches to support Josh, and that's probably his sole focus at the moment, is to build that connection with the new staff and the existing staff and the program that he wants going forward over the pro-season. And he'll sort of leave most of the trade and recruiting side and the draft to our team.
Good luck over the next 10 days.
Thanks, Carl.
Blair, thanks for joining us on afl.com.au on Trade Radio. A much quieter trade period I'm predicting for you this year compared to last. What are your priorities?
Look, our priorities were to, obviously last year's draft, have the picks that we did and put ourselves in a position to not rebuild our list but refresh where we are. And through the trades last year, we've been able to find ourselves at the front of the draft this year. So that's probably our priority at the moment, to really bury ourselves into the draft.
Tyler Young has requested a trade to West Coast. How do those talks look at the moment?
We're disappointed to lose Tyler. He's a fantastic person and a Richmond person, and he's worked so hard to get back from his ACL. So we've had just preliminary discussions with West Coast so far, and that'll work through. We've still got a long time to go.
The club looked at Malcolm Roses Jr. as one of the options in recent weeks. Is that an area of need, do you feel, that small forward? Are you still looking at potentially finding that replacement in that role?
We feel like we're pretty strong in the small forward area with guys like Tyres and Seth Campbell and Ryan Mansell and Morris Rioli Jr. So we're more just looking for some speed, and while disappointed to lose Malcolm, we're pretty comfortable with what we've got as well.
You mentioned the draft, and it is a great one. 2 and 3 at the moment, likely to become 3 and 4. What do the players in that range look like for you? Have you settled on that group at the top end?
Our recruiting team have done a power of work over the whole year, really, to try and get ourselves in a good position for this draft. Rye standing over there, and Ollie Grant and these sort of guys in the background that have done an enormous amount of work. So, we're still working through what that looks like, and we'll go away as a recruiting team after the trade period to work through what that next move is.
What do you think of this year's pool?
It's heavily compromised. So it's we find ourselves in the position of, with the picks 2 and 3, to be able to get in before some of those academy bids and get ourselves a good look at the draft.
Do you think you're a potential 2 bid on a couple of those guys at the top?
Like I said, we're still working through our order, and we'll just be going off our order as it comes.
Any clubs come to you on potentially moving up the board?
Just like I said, preliminary discussions. It's still very early. It's day one, so lots to play out.
And lots to play out on the draft front too. Louis Kellaway is tied to the footy club as a father-son. Will there be any commitment there from his point of view?
Yeah, it's funny, the father-son, it's a good one. Louis is a great young man, and we're lucky to have him aligned to us, and we just got to work through what's next with Louis. A lot of pressure can go on the young man, so we've been in discussions with his family and Louis himself and his manager Ben Williams, and we'll continue to do so over the next little bit.
Well, thanks for the chat and good luck over the next 10 days.
Thank you.
Gubby, tell us about the strategy behind this big trade period for the footy club. Obviously 5 big acquisitions that you've targeted. Why now, and why have you gone so hard?
Good question, Cal. I suppose we've been to the draft the last 4 years, and we've been bringing a lot of good young kids, and now I think it's time that we can fill up all the holes we've got, and we wouldn't have done it without Naz signing. So with Naz signing, it gave us the opportunity to go fishing and have a look what's out there, and hopefully now we'll have a balanced list.
Have you got that sense from the players you've targeted that they wanted to know what Naz was doing as well through the year?
I think so, yes.
Particularly the couple from Carlton. I mean, Tom De Koning joins as a restricted free agent, Jack Savani as a key defensive option as well. Tell us about the appeal there.
Well, I think Tom's an elite ruckman, and particularly the new rule coming in is jumper, and we rate Tom really high in the top level of ruckman, and Jack, well, we really rate Jack. Jack's analytics had him in the, right up there as an A-plusser, as a backman. Yeah.
How do deals stand for Lekalia and also Liam Ryan? We just had Adrian Caruso on from the Giants, so there's a little bit of work still to go on the Lek one. What about Liam as well?
Yeah, no, I haven't spoken to the West Coast at all yet, and I've had a chat to Adrian, a little chat, not long, but we'll get it done.
Officially, is pick 7 on the table for Sam Flanders?
Yeah, it is.
And what attracted you to Sam as a midfield option?
I think he's an elite player. Yeah, pretty simple.
It's a pretty good option as well. You've been targeting the midfield though for a couple of years.
We've had gaps. We've had gaps in our back line. We've had gaps, and I think naturally we've had gaps in our midfield. But now Naz has stepped in there too. So yeah, we're getting closer.
Are you open to doing the deal with Geelong on Rowan Marshall?
We'll just see what happens there. We haven't spoken to the Cats yet, so we'll see where that lands.
What about Jack Steele as well? The club met with him last week. He's free to explore his trade options. Why did you come to that decision?
Yeah, well, that's a good question, and it's above my pay grade. That's a match committee decision, so I can't give you the answer on that.
What's the trade value on Jack?
Yeah, I don't know that yet. We haven't spoken to anyone, and no one's spoken to us, so we'll just wait and see what happens. But Jack's a great young fellow. I've known him since he's 18 at the Giants, so, whatever. We'll do the best by Jack and by the footy club, whatever happens.
Got any surprises up your sleeve?
Oh, we might have a couple left, yeah.
More?
Yeah, we might have. Yeah.
Okay, that's something to keep an eye on Trade Radio over the next 2 weeks. Good luck, Gub.
Thanks, mate. Bye.
Here's Sarah. Good to be joined by Chris Kane. Chris, the big talking point clearly is going to be Charlie Curnow. Where does it sit from your point?
Yeah, look, clearly we've got some interest in Charlie joining the footy club, but we're also respectful of the fact that he is contracted for another 4 years. So, look, I think we'll have those conversations with Carlton at the right time, and we'll do them privately.
What sort of level of chat have you had with the Blues so far?
Look, it's been pretty brief. But I suppose we're pretty early. There's a bit of water to go under the bridge, and we'll work through that over the next week and a half.
He's clearly a fantastic player, a Coleman medalist, been a star of the competition. How do you actually get a deal done without disrupting what you're building yourselves?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I suppose we'll be able to put forward what we think is a suitable offer at the right time. Again, we'll be having those conversations behind closed doors. But I think whenever you're dealing with a trade, you're trying to look at what your opposition might want. You're trying to satisfy them as well as us. So we'll work through that as best we can.
How clear do you have to be around what Geelong might be doing as well? Because it's obviously a two-horse race at the moment. You've got an advantage in that you picked earlier this year, but how do you clearly have to be around what the Cats' plan if attack is as well?
Yeah, I can appreciate that, but I suppose from our point of view, we're just looking at what we can do and how we can acquire the players. So if it comes to that, we'll just put our best foot forward and see if it's good enough.
Have you had any players put their hand up and say they'd be willing to be a part of it?
No, not at all. Not as of yet. I mean, that's the complex part of this is we've got all of our players are contracted and happy to be in Sydney, so we'll have to work through that at the right time.
And you bring in a couple of players, regardless of what happens with Charlie and Malcolm Roses Jr. and also Jai Sarong. How do those deals progress?
Yeah, I think pretty well. It's great for our footy club first and foremost that both of those boys have alluded that they want to come. We've still got to get the deal done. So, look, we've had good conversations with the Gold Coast, with Malcolm, and we'll have a chat to Mark and the Hawks over the coming couple of days about Jai.
What about Jack Buller as well with the Pies? He wants to get to Collingwood.
Yeah, he does. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little disappointed with it. We've got 2 years on the table, and he knows that, and we've put a fair bit of work into Jack, both on and off the field. So, look, he's indicated he wants to get to Collingwood, and we'll work through that, but it has to be for the best for our footy club as well.
There's a few academy players tied to the club this season. We've seen Max King test really well over the weekend at the draft combine. What's your assessment on where they fit into the draft pool and how many you might be able to grab as well?
Yeah, good question, and I think it's a credit to our academy that sort of 5 of them were able to represent the Allies through the championships, and they all, as you said, both on and off the field, performed really strongly at the combine. So, look, in terms of where they sit, I suppose the price point's up to our opposition. Our job is to put them in order and rank them with the rest of the kids in the country and react accordingly, which we will.
Good luck, Chris.
Thanks, Cal.
Thanks for joining us, Matt. A lot on your plate, as the guys were just speaking about there on Trade Radio. Let's start with Brandon Starcevic. How does this one get across the line?
We'll have some more dialogue with Brisbane. We've sort of started that over the weekend, so yeah, a little bit more to play out there, but we're really excited that he's committed to the club, so yeah, we'll work pretty hard to get that deal done.
Is pick 23 on the table for that deal?
There's a number of options that we look at, so yeah, potentially around there and some other things we can do as well. So obviously the Lions are probably looking towards what they can bring in to get their other boys in, so if we can help in that way, we will.
What about number 16? Is that one a pick that you want to keep for your own benefit and without using as part of this Starcevic deal?
Ideally, yes. Yeah, we think it's a really valuable pick. We put a lot of work into that last year and getting that in. So yeah, at this stage, it's going to stay with us.
What's the indication on the compensation you'll get for Oscar Allen? I know this still has to be processed. The free agency deadline comes on Friday, so that's coming pretty soon. But what's the indication you're getting?
Well, nothing is yet. I mean, that's up to Brisbane and when they lodge and what the offer is. Obviously, Oscar's committed to them under free agency. He told us that as soon as our exit's finished, and we appreciate what free agency looks like in in the current market. So yeah, we just got to wait to see when Brisbane lodge that.
We just had Blair Hartley on from the Richmond Football Club. Speaking about Tyler Young, what are you guys prepared to give up for Tyler? He's obviously requested to join the club. And what's the appeal as well in Tyler and bringing him to the Eagles?
Yeah, we look at their depth of position. Obviously losing Jeremy McGovern this year, unfortunately, and Tom Barras traded out last year. So we know we need some key position depth, but also a starting 23 player. We see that in Tyler for us. So really excited to have a guy of his size and stature to play those roles to help our guys down back. So yeah. The Tigers and I have had a bit of a discussion last week. I don't think we're going to be that far apart on what that looks like. So, yeah, we'll have some more chats this week.
Just going back to Starcevic, I mean, he's a two-time premiership player. He's dominated a couple of grand finals. What can he actually bring to the Eagles, and what is he really keen to do as well?
Yeah, obviously he plays with an unbelievable hardness, doesn't he? And he's got great experience. He's a really good culture guy. He's going to fit our locker room really well. So he's got some guys around that can really help in our back half. And hopefully we get Brandon and Tyler over the line. We think that really adds to our back six in a lot of ways.
Club offered Campbell Chester a deal. He's decided to seek a move to Carlton. Have they offered a pick-up yet for him?
Yeah, we had a quick chat the last couple of weeks. We're a little bit apart on that, but I think we can come to some sort of agreement what that looks like. We obviously wanted to retain Campbell. He's a first-round pick, 4 years in. We've done a lot of work with him to actually get him up and going. So we're disappointed. We understand it, but yeah, at this stage we're a little bit apart from where we sit.
What about talks with Liam Ryan? We heard from Graham Allen earlier. He said there hasn't been too much discussion as yet, but what's the price set on Flying Ryan?
Well, Flying Ryan is a contracted player, so we're happy to keep Liam. He's not disgruntled with the club at all. We're not disgruntled the other way either. We think he can really add to us. So he's contracted next year, so it'll be up to St Kilda to come with us with something that's sufficient.
How active can you be in trying to bundle up picks to get up the order?
We could try. We putting some pressure on the recruiting boys to do their ratings to make sure we're actually bundling up to get something that they really want. So we've obviously got a number of options there in those picks to actually move up. So we'll look at that.
So pick one you've got. Pick two we expect you to have. Do you know who you want yet? Have you locked in on your top couple of targets, which is a really exciting thing for Eagles fans watching tonight, thinking who's it going to be? Who's it going to be?
Yeah, we haven't done our final ratings yet, so the boys have put a power of work into it all year. There's some really good, exciting guys at the top. There's some guys there that are contracted or attached to other clubs that we really like too. So, and we'll be putting them in an order, and if we need to bid on someone, we will.
The AFL assistance package come through last week, officially at the end of first round pick and 4 rookie spots. How do you plan to use those 4 rookie positions?
There'll be a combination of factors there. I mean, we ideally would like some experience in those rookie types, and the guys that can actually fit positions on our field, but also from a maturity point of view. We've got a lot of youth on our list, and we're going to add some more at the top end of the draft this year. So we want to put some guys around them. So we've touched base with a number of people, and we'll look through working through that in the next month or so.
Devon Robertson wants to come as well, and been linked to Finn McRae. Josh Gabelich, who's in the studio now, has spoken about also Tom Berry being a player on the radar. Are those guys all in the mix?
We've discussed a number of those players, yeah, definitely, and their management groups have been great at reaching out to us. All those guys have got some great experience. They're good people as well, so we want to bring some good footy players in, but some really good people, and all those guys are of that ilk.
Thanks for your time, Matt.
No worries. Thanks, Cal.
I certainly do, Sarah. Michael, congratulations on the role as well earlier this season. How have you found the first year at the Dogs?
Thanks, Cal. It's been great. Yeah, obviously walking into a club with a really strong list and a strong support structure behind me with Sam and Amit having done the role, and it's been really enjoyable.
Lots to chat to you about. Let's start with Jamari Ugelhagen. Does this trade progress over the next week, or how quickly do you expect him to potentially be moving on from the club?
Well, at this point, Cal, we haven't had an official request come through from Jamara, so we'll wait for that to come. But at the moment, he's a Western Bulldogs player, and we'll continue to support him.
Is there a possibility that gets tied up in the Connor Buderick deal? He has obviously requested a trade to the Dogs from Gold Coast. Is that a potential?
Yeah, look, first off, we're really excited Connor's made the choice to come down to the Western Bulldogs. We can really see him helping us out in that defensive end. But until we get the request from Jamara, we'll be working through the Connor situation with Gold Coast, and we'll take it from there.
Missed out on Devon Robertson, but is there other midfielders that you'd like to look at through this next window?
Look, we're in a position to be open and flexible with that, so we'll wait and see what comes. At the moment, though, we're working through with our current group, and we'll just remain open and flexible to whatever comes our way.
You launched a pretty big deal for Cal Wilkie. He's obviously staying at the Saints, but one, what does that say about your interest in Cal, but also about that position too? And do you progress that with anybody else over the next 10 days?
It's a good question, and yeah, there's obviously some external noise around our key backstocks, but we're really happy with the way Jed Bustlinger, James O'Donnell are developing, and we still see a lot of upside in them. The Callum Wilkie stuff, he chose to stay at St Kilda, and we really respect that. He gave us a fair hearing, and we obviously had a good go at it, but we're taking a really considered and targeted approach to what we do in the key backs, and unless someone can come in and really improve what we've got, then yeah, we'll roll into next year with our current group.
And Stephen May isn't expected to be a part of your plans?
Look, not at this point. We're looking more towards people who can help in the short and mid-term. So Stephen's obviously a contracted player at Melbourne, and we respect that. And until any requests came our way, we would.
Buku Khamis has a contract at the Dogs for next year already, where he'll be a free agent next year, but wants to get to the Blues. What's the trade price you're setting on Buku?
We haven't really got into that with Carlton yet. So Buku's a required player at the club and a much-loved member of the Western Bulldogs community from the NGA right through. Obviously been a really valuable player for us on field too, having played 31 games over the 2 years. So setting a price is probably a little bit premature, but we're having productive conversations with Carlton, and we'll do the best for both Buku and the footy club.
Go well, and thanks for your time.
Thanks, Cal.